so I need this man to save me right now. Are you guys ready? I said, are you ready? Please welcome the Todd Father!
I was looking into a square box. We've all done that in the last 16 months, right? We had that frame around our heads looking into Zoom. I was looking at this person on the other side, and this person asked me, tell me about your accomplishments in your life. I'm not one that likes to talk about myself a lot and my accomplishments. I like to hear other people's. So I, I did this and that. I'm not going to bore you guys with anything. I did this and that, and kind of bumbled through it. And the guy looked at me and said, you don't have a belief system. And for me, that was like, whoa, I don't have a belief system. It hit me right between the eyes. Not in a negative, hurtful way, but in a like, holy cow, I got some work to do if I don't have a belief system. Because at this point in time, I've been part of the Unleash You Now family for, 6, 7, 8 months. And that's what this is all about, right? Is your belief system and changing yourself, changing from the inside out. Last night you heard about, from Michael, my journey into the Unleash You Now family. And that's pretty true. But the person on the other side of the TV was AJ, actually. I wish Michael was here to hear that, but that's all right. We have fun with that. So AJ challenged me in my belief system. So let's fast forward to yesterday. And we're at the first cave. We're gonna jump in, right? And I knew the moment I saw this that I was not gonna do it. Okay? So there was no embarrassing me into it, no nothing. I have a fear of heights. I know I have a fear of heights. My dad fell on me once on a ladder. I'm guessing that's what happened when I was younger. Nobody was hurt. I don't know why I have a fear of closed spaces. So I knew I was not going to jump. Now that, I'm thinking belief system. And I'm thinking what AJ looked at me through that, with piercing eyes and said, you have no belief system. So we get in the vans and we're going to the next place. And I hear people saying that it's going to be a 50-meter jump into a cave. And I'm like, oh great, this is going to be worse. Now I'm going to be cowering behind a tree, crying. So we're driving there, and I'm mad at myself. And it hurt. It hurts me right now to think about it. Because I felt like I let others down, but that isn't what it's about. I let myself down. So I was so relieved when we got to the new place, and it was open. So I thought, okay, that takes care of the one particular item that was freaking me out. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then I saw Adam did the jump, and several others did the jumps. People are doing it. I said, I'm going to do it. So I got down there, and I did it. And I felt different. Weirdly different. I'm sure those of you that tried it maybe did as well. But I didn't feel different just because I made a jump. I just felt different about myself. And I felt like I could look people in the eye again. And we're all different. I'm not judging anybody here what you did or didn't do yesterday or your whole life, right? This is judging me. But I felt so different about myself. And all of you have had experiences like that. And all those experiences have impacted who you are and where you are today. And where you're going to be tomorrow. And where you're going to be in Colombia. And other stops along the path. I had a very comfortable life growing up. I heard Bobby's story yesterday. I'm like, holy shit. That's one. But apparently it's okay to do that here once in a while. But I heard Bobby's story and just absolutely amazed. And again, in one way, I was, and this sounds so selfish to say, but I was crushed because my life has been so comfortable. Like so then why, Bobby's doing great things. All of you guys and I'm a Wisconsin person, so I use the term guys a lot. All you guys are, you tell your stories and all you've been through. And so that comfortable life has impacted my belief system. And, my mom and dad, my parents are 92. Just celebrated their 70th, 7-0 wedding anniversary. We had to celebrate it through Zoom, virtually, because it was last summer. Very comfortable life. They are incredible parents. My brother, we're not really friends because we haven't been together that much, but we would fight to the tooth. We would fight for each other. If anybody touched us wrong or said the wrong thing, we'd be there, right? We'd battle for each other. My wife, my 4 daughters, I've got a super incredible grandson, okay? Even better than Dr. Favors, I would say. And the only issue he has is he's a Minnesota Vikings fan. And you guys all know I'm a Wisconsin person, right? Well, what happened was his friend and his friend's dad got together, okay? But I've had a really comfortable life. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I made this decision to change that. Change the comfortable part of my life. And really focus on, and I did it at a time when, and I'm still in this job, I'm soon not going to be in this job, but I was in this job, it was the best job of all the jobs. I've had like 15 different jobs. I can't keep a job very long. And it's honestly, it was the best job I've ever had. And I'm closer to 100 than 0. That was for you, Sean. Closer to 100 than 0. So why do I want to all of a sudden flip all these things? I'm 63. I know you can't tell it with my gray hair. But why all of a sudden did I want to flip? Well, what happened is I came across a gentleman named Tom Corcoran. And Tom talked to me about leadership. As a matter of fact, Alex, he was one of the 2 people I picked when you asked your question about who you would pick. And Tom brought me to the John Maxwell family, did a lot of training things through John Maxwell family. And then this strange guy on Facebook was trolling. And I clicked yes. And Michael Faber grabbed a hold of me by the ear and said, hey buddy, this is where we're going. Little did I know that I was going to be working on my belief system. That I was going to be taken out of that comfortable place in my life and put into a nice, uncomfortable place in my life so that I could change myself. Initially, I got into all this, though, for the wrong reason. And another change I had to make. Initially, I got into all this where I wanted to build a business and be a speaker and be a coach and leadership and all this great stuff. Money. Well, at that time, I didn't have AJ and Michael in my life. It's not about the money. We all know that initially. It's about the impact. It's about the inspiration. Finally, again, I made that switch. So all along the way, I'm doing the best I can to change my belief system, to put myself in an uncomfortable place so I can become more comfortable, so I can stretch my comfort zone. And then Tom, through this journey with Tom that started about 4 or 5 years ago, he brought into my life something called core values. I'm sure many of you have heard it, many of you maybe have done some work. We're going to talk more about core values. But really, a core value is what is you, what is inside of you, what's foundational to your behavior, what helps you get up in the morning, what do you use to defend yourself when you're in a bad place, your core values, all right? And my core values just very recently, and I mentioned it in Delaware for those of you that were there. I had a challenge come up in one of my trainings. So I was training with a company, and it was the 3rd training of 4, and each of the trainings had 3 different sections. They broke up 60 people into groups of 20 to make it a little bit easier on Zoom. So I'm on the 3rd of the 4 trainings, the 1st training of the 3. I know, math is hard at this time of the morning. And we get done. I'm thinking, okay. So the woman that I work with, the human resources director, got on, or she texted me, said, I got to talk to you. And she said, we're done. I'm like, what? She said, we're done. So what's going on? She said, I got some feedback, and they didn't like the way the first training went, and we're gonna reconnect and regroup. Well, imagine how that feels. And some of you probably many of you have had that feeling, I'm sure, or worse, right? I was crushed, because I want this to be my life. training, teaching, coaching, speaking. So we regrouped. We went to the third training, which was actually after Delaware, and it turned out to be phenomenal. And the fourth training was phenomenal. As a matter of fact, we talked at the end of that, and she apologized for what happened after the training that we stopped. But what got me through that whole mess, and it was hard on me, because I'm trying to convince my wife that this is me, this is who I am, I can impact people, I can add more value to others than I received through my faith and through teaching and coaching. But for that brief moment, but then all of a sudden I said, you know what, I'm going to fall back on my core values. And I did. And they helped me battle through them. And all of you do it, and you don't realize, you may not know your core values. So here's what I want you to think about. And then we're going to do an exercise individually, and then we're going to exercise in small groups. I want you to think about a time in your life, and think about the emotions. Maybe it was yesterday, but where you just had incredible joy. It was just like a great day. I don't care who it was with, where it was, when it was, but something great. If you want to jot a note down, you're not going to have to share these necessarily, but think about the emotions that surrounded that great moment in your life. Then I want you to think about what was one of the most challenging moments in your life. Something that really challenged you deep down, right? Not just a term paper for a class or something like that, or an assignment, but something deep down that really challenged you in your life. And think about the emotions and the feeling that you had around that. Like yesterday for me, doing the jumping. Think about what inspires you. Third item, think about what really inspires you. What inspires you? Okay? We've talked a lot about that the last 3 days. What really inspires you to do something? Could be a person, could be a thing, whatever. What's something that really inspires you? And think about some of the emotions around that. Then I want you to think about your legacy. So my legacy may be coming up quicker than some of yours. But what's your legacy going to be? When you look back on your life, when you're sitting in the rocking chair like my mom and dad do, what's your legacy? What have you left behind that's left the world a better place? All of you have done that, but to what degree? And what can you do between now and then to reach that legacy? Michael Faber's going to have an incredible legacy. As corny and goofy and crazy and weird and funky he is, but he's not going to take credit for that legacy. We know that. It's a family legacy. But think about, what are you going to, and I think about that a lot. And when I shifted from focusing on money to my legacy, my daughters came into my life. And I want them to see that no matter where you are in your life, you can change your direction. You can change your directory. You don't have to be a 9-to-5er. And people that are 9-to-5ers, that's awesome. But you can direct your destiny. So the exercise I'm going to give you to help you with your core values, there's going to be a sheet of paper, and see, I'm a former school teacher, so I don't give you the handouts ahead of time. Because then you're going to be looking at the handouts, and you're not going to be paying attention to me, because I'm the teacher. You got that? You got that, Lydia? By the way, I got to tell you just a quick story. Don't remind me. Handout. So, talk about Zoom. I've seen Lydia on Zoom. Lydia and I have been in one of AJ's classes. And she is a rock star. She's as sweet as that flower in her hat. But Lydia also has, as you found out, Lydia has a determined side. But I saw the sweet, focused, passionate, challenging Lydia. When she got up here the other day, I couldn't tell who it was. I thought my glasses were foggy. I mean, was she fired up or what? You're awesome, kid. You're awesome. Thanks. All of you were. But Lydia, I got to tell you what, that's a treat. So, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a list of words, 100 words. 100 words. You're going to go through the list, and you're going to cross out words that maybe you don't know what the meaning is. Right? Anybody here from Iowa? Okay, good. That's okay. We'll go slower for you. But Go through the list of words, cross out the ones that you don't know the meaning for, or that don't resonate with you. Look at the rest of the words. Put a plus sign by the ones that are like, yeah, that's me on the inside. That's a core value of mine. The other ones you can leave blank. Your goal is to come up with 20. So you got to reduce it from 100 to 20 words. You got to go quickly. Now some of you, I know, are C personalities, very analytical, and you have to spend time on each word and blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Dennis, would you mind helping?